Good afternoon, everybody. Hi, how are you today? It's a nice rainy day here in Cincinnati. Welcome to Tap into Cerkl Broadcast New Tools. I'm Rachel Foles. I'm the Director of Product here at Cerkl. When I am not working at Cerkl, I am rehabbing my old house from a little sewage flood I had at the start of this summer. And here I am with two different types of caulk, a masonry caulk and additionally silicone caulk. So I'm ready for anything.
Wow, very informed. I've taken a bit of a different approach this summer. I'm Sam, by the way. I'm the lead designer here at Cerkl. And this summer, I've really tried to hone my skills on the wake surfboard. But it's good to know if I have any DIY projects, who to go to here.
And I think if I have any wake skating questions, I'll probably just stay home because I'm old.
Yeah, so I'll be manning the Q&A chat over here. So if you have any questions, you can submit them through the QA chat located in the bottom of your webinar screen. It's where the bouncing ball is. We'll also be recording today's webinar. So we'll share that shortly after, and you can share that with your team to use as a reference.
All right, everybody, let's go over how it's going to go today. We're going to take a brief trip down memory lane to talk about how we solve problems. Then we're going to introduce our new omni-channel product suite, Cerkl Broadcast. Then we're going to show you how to create and install our new notifications and personalization plugin. And then after that, we're going to give you a live walkthrough of our new mobile app, and then it's QA time. This is a discussion though, so if you have questions like Sam mentioned, just put those in the chat and we'll do our best to answer them as they come up.
I'll have a peripheral vision, so if I see anything pop up on my computer,
that's right.
I'll hop in. So taking a little trip down memory lane here, when Cerkl was first founded 8 years ago, our co-founders Tarek and Sarah had a vision for a world where the right communication would make it to the right person at the right time. And they decided to call it Cerkl.
That doesn't sound right. That's not what we're calling it, right?
Oh, no, it's Cerkl.
Okay, that's right. And then to solve that problem, we started with the calm staple of newsletters, but we made them smart. We asked audience members what they wanted to hear about and let their behavior guide what content they got. And of course, you guys know that. Here you're going to see Tarek unveiling his big idea at the Ocean Demo Day in 2015. And it was a pretty great idea, but we didn't stop. We kept asking communicators about their challenges, about what held them back from reaching their goals and gaining the respect of other company leaders.
This picture has a familiar look to it, but I can't really seem to.
That? You know, it'll ring a bell eventually. We'll figure it out later on today.
Yeah, so we heard the communicators loved our newsletter, but we needed a way to get quick messages out. So we invented dedicated email, but we didn't stop thinking on that problem.
Definitely not. And then our communicators' needs got more advanced, so we went back to the drawing board and invented blasts for a more advanced experience.
And then when our clients told us list management was a hassle, we invented Audience Manager, but we didn't stop there either. We added segments.
And then when you guys needed more control outside of IT with your segments, we created dynamic and manual segments. That's our culture here at Cerkl, to listen and create solutions that solve big problems for our communicators.
So here we are with the biggest problem facing internal communicators.
You want to connect with your audience. You need to connect with your audience, but it's so hard to get their attention. So with this problem in mind, last year I went to PRSA employee comms and I was doing a lot of listening in the sessions, on the vendor floor, all of that stuff. And what were the people talking about? What was the answer? Channels. Everybody was talking about channels. And so many of the vendors were touting the benefit of their new channel, but all the smart communicators there really knew the deal with channels. And the deal is, email is a great channel, sometimes. And the intranet is the perfect channel, sometimes. And mobile is great for connecting, sometimes.
Now, I thought if you get a mobile app for your company, that this is how all your employees will act, rushing out the door, trying to get to the mobile app as quick as possible.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes, they're messaging everyone that they know in this horse-drawn sunshine carriage about the mobile app.
Yeah, so adding channels sounds great. You gain increased frequency and reach, but it also adds a lot of complexity.
And I'm sure you're familiar with it. You get more systems, more vendors, more logins, processes, tricks to remember, contacts that you got to remember. You have to be the expert in every single one of these things to answer everything that's coming out, in addition to kind of tending them. Because more channels used to mean like this epic copy and paste dance between 3 or more systems. And if you made a mistake, oh my goodness, you find a typo, you're on the last one. It happens every time, and you're like, oh no. And then you got to start over and reformat those things and change the image size and make sure that everything looks right on all these channels.
Yeah. And having so many disconnected channels, it also punishes your highly channel engaged employees. They become bombarded with many of the same messages over and over, causing them to tune out. And plus, the reporting success of these channels can be a job within itself. How can you tell what performs the best? The channels are all using different metrics and reporting styles. It's basically apples to oranges.
Well, they are both fruit, though.
Yeah, and that's about it.
So Cerkl always played nice with external channels like apps, websites, and intranets, and that's not going to change. But what our communicators were telling us is that linking these systems was a hassle, and it required a lot of hard-won IT time. And I know that that's no good. It's really difficult to overcome. So we did what we do best. We fell in love with the problem.
So we thought, what if you only had one system to learn, or one format to deal with, or one place to publish, and ultimately one message to communicate effectively with your audience members on their channel of choice?
And then the magic of Cerkl's delivery system could sprinkle all that content throughout the channels that the employees love and use. So off goes the content. And if the audience member read or dismissed the story, it'd be released from you, decluttering their experience and making room for better, more personalized content experience. In this scenario, the newsletter becomes a digest of the content your audience might have missed on other channels. Publish once, move on with your day. Cerkl's got it from here. And that was the idea for Cerkl Broadcast.
So we're both so glad that you're here with us today to see our next evolution, which is Cerkl Broadcast. Now, Cerkl is still, well, Cerkl. It's the intelligence that powers broadcast new channels, which you're about to see. And that includes intranet notifications and personalization, as well as our new optional iOS and Android app.
Cerkl Broadcast is the culmination of years of work on the part of the Cerkl team and all of you guys, the communicators who trust us with their valuable communications.
Yeah, so let's go on a little story here. This is our new logo for the broadcast product, and it all starts with you. You're at the center trying to be heard. You, the client, are the center of everything that we do. And then there's your message, which needs to be amplified and heard. And finally, there is us, Cerkl, which we support you and direct your message where it needs to go and to who it needs to go to.
Together they make Broadcast, which is Cerkl's approach to channel agnostic communications. So enough of that. I think it's time to get the showcase going.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with intranet notifications and personalization. If you're a SharePoint shop, you know how challenging it can be to create and maintain a modern experience. So we created intranet notifications and personalization to drop easily onto your intranet.
So this is everyone's favorite digital bunny, Officer Hops, and he is here to tell us that it's time to hop out of the presentation, and now we're going to get into the actual live demo. Rachel's going to do a little song and dance over here to change what she's presenting.
Yeah.
All right.
So here we are, and we're in the back end of Cerkl. Now, this thing that we're going to show you now, internet notifications and personalization, is in a beta stage. So you're not able to access it right now, but in the coming weeks, this will be available to you in the integrations and plugins section of settings. So we're going to go through a little bit of how you're actually going to build out your plugin. So the first thing you're going to do is choose where you want to have your plugin placed on your site. This is called the Launchpad here. And as you can see, it's a color associated that we use at Athos. And you have a couple of options about where it's put on your intranet, be it the left or the right, how big you want this guy to be, and then as well as kind of what spacing you want it from the side to give you a little bit more control over how it appears. You might have other things on your intranet, and we want to make room for that experience. Then we're going to go into theme color. And theme color, we're pulling this through from branding. So you're telling us basically what your theme color is generally, but you're able to add a little bit more here as far as if you want to change it up, if your intranet has a different theme or you like to highlight one of your secondary or tertiary colors, you're able to do that here. This color
I want to stop you real quick in case someone didn't catch what happened there. So when you click theme color, that actually was the same as clicking on the Launchpad, and that opened this drawer, right, which is where your content is going to live. And this is going to be on the side of the intranet itself.
Yep. So what you're seeing here is a little bit of a preview of how it might appear on your intranet. But everyone's appearance is a little bit different, right? Because it's personalized to the actual person who signed on to the intranet. So you're able to pick a color, and that color is going to sprinkle through anywhere that you see this purple now. That will be the or color of your choice to give you some more control. And then beyond that, you're able to pick a text color. Now we've defaulted to a black and a gray. So everywhere that you see black text, you're able to pick that color. We're calling that primary text. And everywhere that you're seeing gray, that's secondary text. So that might be summaries and things like that. So using all of these elements that I've picked, I'm going to click this Get Code button. Now, since many of our communicators are using the Microsoft Office 365 suite, we're going to focus on, for this version, the SharePoint and how to put it on SharePoint. But also, we have options available for custom intranets. That would be the copy code here. You just put that in the head of your intranet. Or if you have Hapio, which I know one of our attendees do, there's a different process for installing it, but it could work for a lot of different things. But here we're just going to copy the SharePoint key, and then we're going to head over to AthosNet. AthosNet is our demo site for SharePoint for our fake financial service company, Athos, which we use for demos. So I'm going to edit this site. And I already have from the Office 365 web part store, we have submitted for it to be available to you. So we have a version of it on here. And so if you're a SharePoint shop, you'll be able to go to the App Store and grab this guy.
Can I say at this point, as a non-technical person, I'm still a little skeptical on how easy this is going to be. It sounds like I need to call IT.
Nope, you certainly do not. So you're just going to add a new web part. And then from here, I'm going to look for notifications. And here she is, notifications and personalization with that very snazzy broadcast logo. I'm going to edit the web part and enter that SharePoint key that I got from Cerkl. Click apply, and here within 30 seconds or so, we'll start to see the notifications and personalization pop up.
We did not need IT, apparently.
Yeah, so you can choose which pages that you want it on. Now, for the user, in this case, this one is signed in as the SharePoint user here. Here are the stories that the communicator has said, these are very important, and these are the things that are in the alerts carousel. This is a carryover from the experience that people have been having since January, I think, with the email, that when you put a priority on a story in Content Hub, then that priority carries over to here.
Where is this content coming from specifically?
So this is content that's been approved in Cerkl. Okay. So the stuff that you would have in your newsletter now can be made available here with just that little installation. So these are the stories that the communicator has said Jonathan needs to see. And those are the things with the top story chips. And then additionally down here, we have some other stuff that's recommended to him just due to his behavior or the preferences that he shared with us. Wow. Yep. And those very important content pieces, those top stories and the other things that we're alerted on, those end up in notifications. And notification serves as a log of all the things that Jonathan has been told he needs to see until they get deleted. So that kind of feeling that people have, like, I read it, but I can't remember, or I know they sent it to me. This is going to be the new home for that idea of, like, if you put a priority on something, it lives here until it's gone.
So I've been kind of playing the voice of public opinion here,
sure.
Like the devil's advocate or whatever. But I just want to reiterate that this is all coming from Cerkl's content manager. There is no extra work being done here.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So when that approve button is clicked here in content, then there it is. And it's just being made available. It's kind of flowing like water through the channels and looking for the place that it can kind of bubble through.
Yep.
And that's how this is going to work for people. Yeah. Any questions coming through right now about how one might install this on their site, or maybe kind of what the purpose of this might be?
We do not have anything coming through great. At the moment.
Well, I think it's time to hop over and do a quick demo of the mobile app. So I'm going to stop this screen share.
Yep. And this is a real song and dance here to switch from desktop to sharing a mobile phone. So give us a second here. All right, we do have a question that just came in too to fill the gap.
That sounds great.
All right, so the question is, do we have the ability to turn off notifications?
Do you have yes, the ability to turn off notifications is available from your customer success person. It's something that we can do on the backside for you. Okay. Yep. All right, so welcome to my real life phone. Let's hope that my child or husband doesn't call me during this time, because that's sometimes what happens. And what you'll see here is the Cerkl broadcast logo. This is our app. Once again, it's in testing right now. and ready. It's been submitted and approved in the App Store, but it's not out for you to get just yet. Now, the app is something that incurs an additional cost, which we'll talk about here at the end. But first, I kind of want to show you what we've been working on. So I'm going to click on here. The first thing to note is that everything's done through this magic link. So if you have the app and you decide to enable it for your organization, getting people in the app is just as simple as saying, hey, I'm ready to turn on this app. We get it set up for you very, very quickly. And then they use the email address that they get their Cerkl emails with to log in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit send, and this is going to verify which circles I'm in, and then send me a link to my email that's going to say, hey, this is what you need to do to log in.
It's going.
It's going. All right, so here's what it says. Check your email. So I'm going to launch my email app. Refresh it. That's right. Can imagine that all this video is taking up quite a bit of bandwidth on the old Cerkl Wi-Fi. And there it is. So I just click this, and then I am verified. So here I have, in my case, of course, you know, as a product person here at Cerkl, I have a lot more circles available than the average bear. But if your organization has child circles, this would automatically pull through any child circles that this given email address has associated with them.
So that way Jim from sales can go to straight to the Athos sales circle.
Absolutely. So he'd be in the Athos, the big Athos global circle, but he might also be in sales. And so that doesn't mean that Jim needs to install two separate apps. That means Jim has both apps with one placement on his screen. That's all he's got to do. Download this one app and pick which one. And you can always switch between them. Here I'm asking, hey, is it okay if we send you push alerts? And as a matter of fact, it is okay if you send me some push alerts, because that's something that you're going to be able to do inside Cerkl's Content Hub, is that you'll be able to, when you're setting those priorities, you'll be able to say, hey, send a push alert, pick what time, and then that's going to go to everyone who has a push enabled. So the first thing you might notice is that this experience is going to feel pretty familiar to what we just showed you in the internet personalization and notifications. You have a carousel with all of the relevant content for me that I have not seen, had not dismissed or clicked on, as well as content that's being recommended for me. And the user can dismiss by swiping this way. Now that means that it's dismissed from view in the case of the mobile app and internet personalization. But however, at the end, when we do their email digest on whatever schedule that you've set or that they've set for themselves, that story will still be included in that email digest if it's important for them to see.
And I'll reiterate again, there's no extra work being done here, right?
Nope.
This is all coming from the same spot in Cerkl. You're publishing once and it's being distributed amongst all of these different channels.
Right, so an employee can choose either to use all the channels. They might be somebody who is highly channel engaged, so we talked about before, who wants to use mobile and internet and enjoys the digest. Or it might be someone that is just a mobile app person. They're out in the field. No matter whatever channel they're using, it's the same set of content. It's the same experience.
It's one ecosystem. That's the way I like to put it.
Yeah, absolutely. So then we'll look here at notifications, the same thing here. And this should feel pretty familiar to you if you are a social media user. These notifications are here because this has been pushed to me. This is something I need to look at. And this is another way to get that attention, right? The attention that all communicators are having trouble. This is a familiar experience for your users, that when they go to Instagram or Facebook, that's the first place you look, right? You're not going to get involved in that newsfeed. You're going to go to the things that you've been tagged in, or that Facebook thinks that you need to see, whatever that case is. So we're bringing that experience to you here.
I think we've been trained pretty well to know that the red number is, I should look at that.
That's right. You know it's for you, right? And that's kind of the experience we're piggybacking on here. We have a very optional mobile directory, option. Yeah, double option. I'll go for it 3 times. And the mobile directory here is something that you can turn on and off on your side of things. So in the mobile settings inside Cerkl, it's as simple as saying, yes, I want to turn the mobile directory. We're using the data that you're already providing us from your integration. And then you're able to toggle on and off. Do you want email? Do you want address or location? Do you want phone number? Those types of settings are available to you to adjust at any time.
We have a question.
I love questions. Let's do it.
Will single sign-on be available for the mobile version as well?
So we're using kind of the way that with the magic link, we're using the single sign-on associated with your email, right? So by putting the barrier at their email, if you're already using single sign on your email, we're able to do that. But I think that that's an additional enhancement that we could explore in the future. But this is the first version that we're putting out, but still you're protected behind that wall if your email is single sign on. All right. So, and then of course from here, you can call them, you can email them, but all of those, what appears here is really up to you.
And that's all controlled in settings as well. Yep,
controlled in the Cerkl settings for mobile. So if you make a bad choice or you want to turn something on because let's say you found out with 24 hours notice that everyone's going to be working remote for 5 months, you're able to do that on the fly without, calling us. I mean, we'd be happy to guide you through it, but you still have all that control.
Sounds like something that would be on Netflix. I don't see that happening anytime soon.
And then here, these links here, what you see, Ethos Global Home.
Where did you get to that? Because I just missed it and I was watching.
Yeah, so you have this little hamburger menu is what it's called here. And it pops out for you. So first thing to notice is that that's where the log out is. Second thing to notice is the other circles that I have available. In the case of our previous example, our friend who is in Ethos Global and Ethos Sales, he'd be able to switch here into a different circle. And then here, these links, Ethos Global Home and Ethos Net, those are things that you also can change inside the Cerkl settings. And I think the big benefit here is it's not that you have to put out a new app. It's not that you have to call anybody. It could be that you have a campaign that you're running that you need more attention on. This could be another place for it. Or for that 60 days of open enrollment, you want it, HR is on your back to get that in there. You're able to switch out these links at any time within Cerkl. No additional hand-holding or anything necessary. You have all the control. You have all the power there.
Yeah. It'll make things convenient for the employee. Like if you have an event coming up or whatever that may be, it's just a comfortable spot for them to go and access it.
Right. And I would think when I was thinking about this and when we were thinking about solving this problem, the kind of stuff that I saw here is like, yeah, you have one or two that switch out pretty frequently, but maybe you work at a hospital and you need to have that menu for the cafeteria. It's the link that everyone always asks you where the link for. Or maybe timesheets. You have a weird UltiPro website, things like that. Links that are people misplace frequently. Yes. Or they're weird URLs, whatever it is, this might be a good place for it. And another optional option, I'm not getting out of it now, is a contact us form. So you can choose within your Cerkl settings to turn on a contact us form where anybody using the app can share thoughts or ask a question, and you designate what email address that goes to. So you might already have processes in place where you want all of those to go to a central mailbox, whatever that is. Once again, that's something that you can change the use of, update the email address, turn it on, turn it off, whatever it is, you have all that control right in the back end. Nothing special for you to do.
It's so modular. I love it.
Well, you made it. All right. And that, is there anything that anybody wants to see in the mobile app that's coming through in questions?
Give it a second, see if anybody has anything come up. So do you want to talk about what broadcast means to you and what that means for the evolution of our company and what you're excited about?
Yeah, I think, it's been really, really cool, like kind of getting to the next phase of things as we began to build out these channels and began to think about the bigger problem, right? And not just the more immediate fixes, but like, what is the real thing and how can we connect all these things together? And the broadcast idea really was that that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to broadcast a message. You're trying to be heard, and you're trying to connect with people. And your competition is steep, right? So how are you going to innovate your way out of a pretty big, what is probably the challenge of this entire decade, right? Getting someone's attention.
Yes.
And even when the stuff is good, it doesn't mean that you're always in a position to get it. And also, being a communicator my whole life until now, I think that having that control and that power and the ability to create and implement innovative solutions without so much IT help, it's always a challenge to get that attention, and it sometimes can slow things down. So I love enabling communicators with the ability to really put out some cool stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. We had one question come through.
Sure.
So how do we get started with adding broadcast mobile?
Well, I love that question. Thank you so much for asking. That's actually what I talk about now. Now, broadcast mobile is an additional thing that is that does cost more money. I mean, it's not an impossible set of money or anything like that. I think you guys will find it very affordable and easy to turn on. But when we are releasing in the next week or so, what is going to be available to you is that you'll be able to push a button within your settings and ask for more information about it. But I'm sure that your friendly people in customer success would be happy to set you up with someone that could show you a little bit more about broadcast mobile and go over some pricing options with you. But it's very affordable and very easy to turn on.
Yeah. And right now I believe that it is out on Google Play.
Is it out?
I think so.
I know it's not out on Apple yet.
Not out on Apple yet.
Yep. But it is approved.
But it will be available when we are ready to go.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
All right. Well, we are at the official Q&A part. So if anybody has anything else that they would like to ask, I'll have my full attention on my screen now.
So we can talk a little bit about what's next. You know, this kind of isn't the end of channels for us, right? So the next thing Sam and I are really trying to work on is figuring out how can we make Microsoft Teams work really well for our communicators as another channel that they can enable and organize and measure for a communications channel. And so that's one of the next ones that we're doing, but we're always on the lookout for new places that we can add Cerkl's intelligence and make a broadcast channel. And that the more that we can help you extend your reach in a way that doesn't feel so heavy is what we'll be thinking about. And also how to activate your audience effectively using the data you already have and making that easy. That's kind of what we were pursuing with segments as well.
Yeah, because I mean, every individual employee has their own preferred spot where they go to for communication.
Yep.
We're just trying to hit any possible option there.
Well, and I think we're rewarding them too. It's not like if you go to the internet and the mobile app, then you're going to get different experiences, right? Because you clicked on something in the mobile app, so then it's worth it to open it on the internet. And what else do we have for you? Yeah. It really gives that, you can, of course, do what you have to do and communicate to the middle, but it gives you a little bit more room to tell those stories that might resonate with a smaller set of your audience that you need to engage.
Okay, we're getting some action over here.
All right, let's see it.
So we'll start with this one. If we choose to turn on the mobile app directory, how do we get employee phone number added?
That's such a great question. So there are some things that we can do on the Cerkl side, but in the coming months, we'll be releasing, if you're not integrated and you need to be able to upload a CSV with those phone numbers, we'll be releasing some additional options for you to be able to do that from our existing list import. But we can work with you on that on our side of things.
Okay, I mean, they're coming in.
All right, let's go.
All right, so are mobile analytics included? Absolutely.
And you guys, I mean, this is cool and I love it and I'm very excited, but you know, I'm a measurement person and I think you guys, we're beginning work right now. The design work is done, but we're beginning engineering work on our new mobile analytics. And I think that in adding those mobile analytics and the internet notifications and personalizations analytics, we have really on a path to drastically enrich the analytics that you have inside Cerkl and really give you clarity as to what channels work for what communities and what audience members. I think you'll be excited.
And it's not apples to oranges anymore, right?
No, it is not. Everything, you can count your apples and you can count your oranges. They're in separate tables and they have lovely headers that tell you exactly what they mean.
All right, let me keep my place here.
Okay.
Will we have the ability to give input to what stories are recommended to us on the mobile version? I think this is coming from an employee perspective. For example, don't show a story like this again, or I have a high level of interest for this type of content. So that sounds like something like Pandora or Spotify, like recommendations, stuff like that.
Yeah, so there's some intelligence that's going into the dismiss function that tells us that you dismissed that story despite it having some interest that you had either told us that you liked or that you had demonstrated that you liked through your activity. So there is some things with the engagement score that will be tied into that as well.
Perfect. All right, next up. Does the plug-in with share, okay, I'm gonna just read it. Does the plug-in with SharePoint on premise?
No. So if you're on-prem SharePoint, then I don't believe that you can add apps to on-prem SharePoint. But if you're able to add apps to on-prem SharePoint, it's going to be in the app source. So if you're able to do that with your install, then yes.
Okay. Is there an additional cost for internet personalization?
No, that's going to be included. As soon as that's out, that's going to be available to you and ready to go with no additional cost for you whatsoever.
Feels like we missed an opportunity to have like a, wait, there's more.
Oh, I'm so sorry. but wait, there's more. It's totally free.
Let's see. I think that made it through that set of questions.
Okay, great.
So, whoa.
Well, yeah. Well, that's it for us, guys. And if you have any additional questions that operate outside of this, I love talking about our products. So please reach out to me. It's Rachel@Cerkl.com. And I want to thank you guys so much for spending this time with us. I'll give you these. Oh, we have another question.
Oh, right. Do you integrate with Workday for mobile data?
Yes, we can integrate. I'm not sure if you want to bring the data from mobile into Workday, but that's something we can talk about what you're thinking, and we can work with our integrations engineer to figure out how we can make that data flow in a way that makes sense for you.
All right.
I love your excitement. I love your energy, and I love your questions. Thank you. We are really proud of what we're able to do for you, and I really appreciate the opportunity to get to show it to you today. Once again, Rachel@Cerkl.com. Thank you guys so much, and have an awesome day.
Thanks, guys. See ya.